Remember when fast food was the go-to affordable meal? Not anymore. What was once a reliable option for grabbing quick, inexpensive food is rapidly transforming into a luxury. The $5 value meals and affordable combos that made fast food so accessible are disappearing from menus across America. In their place are eyebrow-raising prices that have many questioning if it's even worth a trip to the drive-thru anymore. $18 for a Big Mac meal, $7 for a simple Egg McMuffin. These aren't luxury bistro prices. This is McDonald's we're talking about. How did we get to the point where fast food, designed for convenience and value, has become a strain on the average consumer's budget?
You know, it's supposed to be cheap, quick, and an easy option, but now, as Teresa Priolo shows us, some price hikes seem to have a lot of people asking, why is fast food getting so expensive?
Everything, it seems, is getting more expensive, and that now includes fast food.
$17 for 3 Filet-O-Fishes at McDonald's? Are you kidding me?
Don't you just miss the days when fast food was actually cheap?
The answer lies in the storm of economic forces currently impacting the industry. Labor shortages have enabled fast food workers to demand and receive long overdue wage increases. Inflationary pressures have sent costs soaring for core ingredients, and operating expenses like rent are only getting pricier. Faced with these compounding costs, fast food giants have been forced to substantially raise menu prices just to maintain slim profit margins. But at what point do consumers jump ship to seek out more affordable options? So what exactly are the major costs that have been squeezing the fast food industry and forcing these premium price hikes? Let's break it down. Labor costs. Perhaps the biggest factor has been the well-deserved increases in wages and benefits for fast food workers. For decades, these employees were stuck in difficult, demanding jobs with minimal pay and little security. But a tight labor market, worker activism, and societal pressure have finally shifted the balance of power. Major chains like McDonald's and Chipotle have raised wages substantially, with the average hourly fast food paycheck jumping nearly 30% since 2020, according to data. And the recent California law raising the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 is expected to have ripple effects across the entire industry nationally.
Fast food workers in California are eagerly anticipating a significant increase in their pay. On Monday, their minimum wage increases to $20 an hour.
These wage hikes have greatly impacted restaurants' biggest line item expense, payroll. Every 1% increase in labor costs translates to roughly a 0.33% price increase on menus to offset the blow to profits. Ingredient costs. The plain truth is that the literal ingredients making up your burgers, fries, tacos, and more have gotten much pricier over the last few years. Whether it's beef, poultry, grains, dairy, or produce, rampant inflation has substantially driven up grocery costs across the board. Factors like supply chain disruptions, climate impacts on crop yields, the war in Ukraine's effects on grain exports, and more have resulted in fast food suppliers charging much higher prices. Those increases are inevitably passed to the end customer at the drive-thru. Operational costs. It's not just food and labor. The costs of actually running a fast food restaurant have skyrocketed too. The prices of packaging, napkins, cleaning supplies, equipment, and more have all risen sharply. Even as profits get pinched from multiple angles, these operational expenditures are unavoidable fixed costs. With no clear end in sight to many of these inflationary pressures, don't expect cost relief for fast food chains anytime soon. Their only path forward may be to keep hiking prices on consumers, who are already showing signs of cutting back as a result. For decades, fast food has been an affordable staple for Americans of all ages and income levels. But as menu prices soar, that long-held dynamic is being severely disrupted. And it's the younger generations of Millennials and Gen Z who may be feeling the impacts most acutely. As housing costs devour huge portions of their income, these groups came to rely on inexpensive fast food as an accessible way to stretch their limited budgets. Now, with even value meals like McDonald's Big Mac combo crossing the $15 threshold in some areas, that affordability is vanishing. The emerging pattern is clear. When dollar values no longer align with the value proposition, consumers start checking their spending. Multiple surveys and reports indicate these younger demographics are already paring back their fast food habit as prices become unjustifiable to their tight finances. Take Dave, a 35-year-old artist forced to cut his weekly fast food stops from 4 to just 1 to 2 due to costs. He's thinking, you can't get anything on McDonald's value menu for $1 anymore. As one diner notes, if I'm going to spend $15–20 either way, I may as well go somewhere with an actual server and atmosphere. Data illustrates just how drastically demand is softening. In McDonald's latest earnings, despite new promotions like the revamped value menu to retain budget customers, US sales still fell short of expectations as higher prices turned away from price-sensitive consumers. consumers. If this behavior persists, some analysts warn the industry's entire value model may need to be changed. After all, when the originator of the 15-cent hamburger is charging luxury prices, it becomes harder to define its position and audience. For Millennials and Gen Z already struggling with financial uncertainty, giving up the small reprieve of a cheap fast food privilege may seem like another value sacrificed in today's unaffordable economy. The fast food industry's affordability crisis cannot be viewed by itself. Rather, it must be framed within the broader economic landscape that has seen costs soaring across nearly every sector over the last few years. At the root have been the highest inflation rates in 4 decades. While moderating recently, prices peaked at over 9% annual increases in mid-2022, according to the latest Consumer Price Index data. This inflationary wave touched everything from gasoline to groceries, housing to healthcare. The UN's Food Price Index climbed a staggering 28% in 2022 alone due to the conflict's disruption of supplies from the fertile breadbaskets of Ukraine and Russia. At the same time, the industry has had to contend with extraordinarily tight labor markets driving up wage costs as unemployment plunged to generational lows. While a boon to paycheck-starved workers, it added further strains to restaurants' biggest line item expense. Existence has become especially dicey for any business model historically premised on keeping operating costs as low as humanly possible to deliver rock-bottom consumer prices. Some economic soothsayers predict that even as headline inflation trends back down towards the Fed's 2% target, fast food's greedflation issues may persist. Corporations that filled on profitability during the pandemic may now be addicted to charging more. Rising rents aggravated by housing shortages, the looming impacts of climate change on crop yields and livestock headcounts, and the spillover effects of California's 20-hour fast food wage onto national labor markets. All could collide to keep menu prices biased upwards for years to come, even if consumers' tolerance starts being tested. As fast food keeps getting more expensive, the big question is how long customers will keep buying it. Convenience is still a major reason people go to fast food, but there are signs that budget-conscious diners are changing their habits. One new trend is people cooking more at home since it's cheaper than restaurants. It's a paradox. When restaurants raise prices, it makes more sense to buy your own ingredients. Meal kit delivery services that bring ingredients to your door may become more popular. More people are packing food from home now to avoid eating out on the road versus paying $15 for fast food. It just doesn't make sense anymore. For people still getting fast food, they are desperately looking for deals. Apps and websites that find every promotion and discount hack are going viral. This shows people are struggling with restaurants raising prices beyond what's affordable. Inevitably, with fast food, fast casual, and sit-down prices diverging, many will just go for the better quality food. Why pay $10 for a basic burger when just $5 more gets you a full restaurant experience with bigger portions, better service, and a nicer environment? In the future, fast food may split into 2 categories. The cheap eats will be new startups, and old chains barely hanging onto the affordable reputation. Meanwhile, big chains could go upscale, marketing themselves as affordable indulgences for wealthier customers. New businesses like popular food trucks and ghost kitchens run by chefs may also disrupt traditional fast food economics. Mobile operations have lower costs, so they can undercut prices while offering quality food. Overall, fast food lost its edge as the cheapest option. The industry may need to completely rethink its whole identity and value to stay relevant long-term. If not, they risk an innovative newcomer finally figuring out how to offer real convenience and value. In the end, fast food is not cheap and easy like it used to be. Higher costs for workers, ingredients, and operations forced restaurants to raise prices. This change tested even their most loyal customers. Money issues don't just impact dining, it can affect your whole career too. So check out my recent video, Why Job Loyalty is Worthless These Days. We look at another big economic shift changing how people work, and if sticking with one job is still worthwhile, or if moving around pays off more.